Hello everyone, I just wanted to let you know that, sorry about starting late, I had some technical difficulties, but I'm up and running. I just wanted to let you know how this presentation is going to go. The topic is going to be on recovery and methods for recovery. How it's going to work is I'll be asking questions to a strength and conditioning coach, and he'll be giving his input as we go along. For now, if everyone doesn't mind being on mute, and then at the end of the presentation, we can open it up to any specific questions that you may have. So Trevor, if you're good to go, we'll get started.
First off, Stu, thanks for having me on here. Everybody, my name is Trevor Morning. I've been a strength and conditioning coach for about 8 years now in the industry. I've worked with several middle school, high school, college, professional athletes from around the Northwest area here. I'm just gonna be talking to you guys a little bit about just recovery and a couple of tools and tricks of the trade, just kind of go over things during season. Obviously right now, you guys, would normally be playing right now, but what to do during tournament times and games, practices, etc. So I'm just going to share my screen and kind of go over a little PowerPoint with you guys real quick here. Just bear with me. Can we all see that? Can you see that, Stu? We all good?
Yep, good to go there.
Okay. First thing, obviously, what is recovery? Recovery is the time between competitions, training, and practices, which is essential for tissue and structural repair. During games, practices, training sessions, your body is essentially breaking down. Obviously, with all the games and practices, and skill work and training that you guys do, obviously in your off season and during your season now and during the fall, obviously your body's breaking down, but obviously we need to kind of rebuild, during our, off times or off days, essentially. So without adequate recovery, stress begins to accumulate and negative consequences are soon to follow up, not allowing body to adapt and build back up. Why is recovery important for soccer players? Obviously, I'm sure some of you guys on here, if you guys are not even just soccer players, but multi-sport athletes as well. If you guys play, basketball, for example, just in general, but like soccer requires players to travel roughly 7 miles per game on average. Obviously, you guys low intensity jogging, short sprints, frequent change of direction, and efficiency. You build up physical preparedness through strength and conditioning in the off season and during season, which I'll kind of touch on here in the next couple of slides, and why it's important to strength train year round and have a structured plan of attack year round, during season, off season, in season as well. If an athlete isn't recovering properly, they're susceptible to soft tissue injuries, like muscle strains, pulls, stuff like that, joint aches, pains, knees, hips, ankles. Obviously you're very, fluid and natural for you guys. Obviously it's more common. And chronic fatigue. Obviously, if you're not prepared, I use the 5 Ps, for example. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. If you're not prepared, you're prepared to fail. And obviously you need to be prepared for your games, for your practices, and so on. So the big 4 is what we kind of call the types of recovery that's important for you guys. The big 4. So 1 is sleep. Okay. Is probably the biggest recovery method that you guys could use. It's something so simple. Okay, but a lot of you guys, if you guys are stressed out with school, with, maybe you guys have family issues going on, like, little things, like being a normal human, a normal kid, you guys aren't sleeping, but obviously it's very important, especially before games and during the week, to prepare for that. So at least sleeping 8 hours a night, okay, is crucial. Okay, and obviously nutrition, okay, proper nutrition can protect, fuel, and build the body. Make sure you guys are putting the best foods in your body. I kind of allude to all my athletes I work with is, think of your body and yourself as like a car, like your favorite vehicle. If you're a Lamborghini, you're not going to put, water in and expect it to run. Like, you need to put high premium grade fuel in that bad boy to make that thing run and have that horsepower, for those games, practices, etc. In training, obviously a structured year-round strength and conditioning plan gives soccer athletes a proper foundation to handle demands of the sport. Yeah, obviously that's kind of my background and niche. All right. But it's so important for athletes, and you guys, play all year round. I mean, you guys are, whether you guys are multi-sport, if you just do soccer and play soccer, okay, you guys have practices, you have games, you have tournaments, like, your fall season, you have your spring season, you have your summer, you guys are traveling to all these places. Okay. But having a structured plan of attack and training, like, you guys should be training, okay, strength training, okay, 2 days a week, year round, minimum. if you're like right now, if this was our busy time of the season, okay, with all my athletes, if it's a baseball player or a lacrosse athlete or a soccer athlete, if this was your season, 2 times a week, we would train 45 to 50 minutes. Okay. But if it's your off season, now there's not really an off season anymore with kids. I get it. But if there's more of an off season, 3 to 4, potentially maybe 5 days a week, depending on your schedule. But that's where you need to find some place that knows, how to make up a plan of attack and what they need to do to structure out what's going to be best for you. Okay. So again, like some of you guys are multi-sport athletes. So maybe you only can come in 2 days a week versus some come in 4 days a week. Okay. So it's differentiated based off of the kid and the athlete and where they're at and what they need to do based off of the demand, and the opportunities that they have. Okay. So make sure like it's so important. Okay. Because training is going to prevent obviously injury prevention. Okay. Obviously strength, speed, power, which you guys want to be fast. You want to be explosive. You want to be powerful. Okay. But obviously be able to sustain that for a long period of time is obviously very, very important. And not just for, 14-year-olds, but like, it's going to help you when you're 15 to sophomore year, junior year, senior year to beyond when you guys are playing collegiately potentially. Okay. And then last thing, hydration obviously is very huge as well. Body is 2/3 water, muscles are 75% water. Okay. You guys need to be fueling yourself. Obviously, like I said, you guys are playing games, you're having practices, you have this and that. You need to be hydrating. Okay. You need to drink water. Okay. Right when you wake up, I always like having like a big glass of water is the first thing I do. Because when you wake up, you're already dehydrated. Okay. Have a glass of water right away. Okay. Like 10 to 12 ounces right away when you wake up, and make sure you're drinking. Okay. Probably with you guys, probably around like 60 to 85 ounces of water a day, just to kind of give you guys a gauge. Okay. Throughout the day. And obviously more even obviously when you're practicing and when you have games and tournaments. Okay. So those are just the big 4. Okay. Sleep, nutrition, training, hydration. Okay. The big 4. Okay. If you can take care of your sleep, make sure you guys are sleeping 8 hours a night. Okay. That's gonna be the biggest thing. Okay. You're recovering during your sleeping patterns. Okay. In your REM sleep. Nutrition, obviously making sure that's dialed in, make sure you're having, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks throughout the day. And obviously after pre-practice, pre-workout, post-practice, post-workout, after games, etc. Training, obviously make sure you have a structured training plan year round to make sure you can handle that demand, okay, of the off season and the in season and the peak times that we're in, would be right now for you guys. And obviously hydration, obviously as well. To kind of just go off of that nutrition wise, okay, functions of a well-balanced diet, obviously protect, fuel, and build. Okay, protect, obviously you want to enhance your immune system, protect against muscle damage, okay, support recovery, okay, fruits, veggies, healthy fats, okay, avocados, peanut butter, things like of that nature. Okay, so making sure that your muscles, okay, can heal themselves after all the damage that we've sustained, from playing and training, etc. All right. Okay, and fuel. Okay, soccer athletes burn a lot of calories. Like I said, you guys are go, 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 go. Okay, you practice, you have games, like you're burning so much. Okay, you need food. Okay, food equals fuel. All right, so high carbohydrate for energy and muscle recovery. Okay, adequate healthy fat for a hormonal, okay, low intensity energy supply. All right, so having something as, like a thing of chocolate milk after, a workout or after a game, and making sure we're not having, a hot dog with chips and a cookie, like things of that nature. Obviously, like I said, I kind of allude back to like, if your favorite car is a Mustang, you're for a Lamborghini or this, like you got to put the high premium grade fuel in that bad boy in order to run. And if you're putting not so good things and you're waking up and having a bowl of Fruity Pebbles in the morning, probably not the best idea before a game at 10 a.m. Okay, you got to fuel yourself with the right things in order for you guys to, produce, on the field and produce at a high level. Okay, and obviously you guys play at a great club, okay, and you guys need that, because if you guys want to play at your peak, like you got to fuel yourself. Okay, and build. Okay, all right, lean protein options, ideally from animal sources. Okay, due to the protein quality, will support muscle recovery, retention. All right, so your beef, your meats, your chicken, eggs, etc. Right. Okay, if you guys need, I can send this to Stu as well. If you guys want just like options, like what foods do I need to eat or what's good for me, I can send that over to you guys as well. Okay, so protect, fuel, and build. All right, and hydration, kind of went over this as well. Body is 2/3 water, muscles are 75% water. Okay, athletes muscle function better as a filet mignon or beef jerky? Okay, obviously it's high quality versus low quality. All right, water is the body's temperature regulator. Start to notice dehydration effects with only 1 to 2% of fluid loss. Okay, so you see a lot more hamstring pulls as well. Okay, like about 70% of hamstring pulls occur when you're dehydrated. Okay, and obviously you guys run. Okay, you guys make sure you need to be fueling yourself and hydrating, okay, during games, especially if you guys are going out, like, hopefully in the spring or summer, if you're going to places like Arizona or some places in the South, like where it's a lot hotter, when it's 100 degrees. It's not like Minnesota, right now it's 55 degrees. Okay, that's a completely different atmosphere. We need to be prepared for that. All right, and that just isn't when we get out there. That starts, that week of too. So make sure you're hydrating as well and preparing for that. Okay, next thing, cool down. Okay, so this is more for like after your games, after your practices. Okay, just a few simple movements. Okay, meant to circulate, mobilize, strengthen. Obviously, focus for us is ankles, knees, hips, thoracic spine, and shoulders. Okay, now we can kind of get into the static stretching debate. I'm not sure like what you guys do, obviously, for like a warm up, for example, but I like breaking down a warm up into 3 different components. Okay, your first component is circulation. Okay, or blood flow. Like you want to get your heart rate up, you want to get your core temperature up, you want to pretty much just get a sweat going. Okay, to get your core temperature up, body up. Okay, and circulate that blood flow. Okay, and then 2 would be more activation. So getting your muscles obviously activated. Okay, with your hips, your upper back. Okay, your posterior chain. Make sure your muscles are activated, ready to go, and are firing properly. Okay, and then 3 is more neural. So doing some more like dynamic movements, like squat jumps, things of that nature, to making sure your proprioception from your brain to your body is like, hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fire up. I'm ready to train. I'm ready to practice. I'm ready for my games. Okay. And then lastly, relaxed belly breathing. Okay. So like whether it's after games, practices, okay, you want to get your body into what we call a parasympathetic state. Okay. So rest and digest state. So whether it's like laying on the ground after a game, just relaxing, okay, to get your body down and regulate, okay, into that state, okay, where you're just focusing on, even if you have to keep your hand on your belly, okay, and just breathing through your belly, okay, for about 3 to 5 minutes, okay, usually, okay, after games or practices or some intense, movement or just through your games. Ice baths. I know we coach kind of talked about that as well. Okay, it's like, like I have on the slide, current literature on ice baths are conflicting. Now, it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, to be honest. Okay, because it can potentially delay recovery. Okay, it could blunt the inflammatory response, which in the body is crucial for recovery. Okay, but also can be beneficial of playing multiple games per day or between multiple training sessions. So if you guys are, just use the Arizona thing, for example, if you're out in Arizona and you guys play on a Saturday morning at a 10 o'clock game, and then you guys have a game at 6 o'clock at night. Okay, that could be something where it's beneficial. We're doing it after, your game at 10 o'clock or going back to the hotel, or if you have a tub there, okay, popping in an ice bath for 8 to 12 minutes, okay, in between sessions. Okay, so just some conflicting, literature on that aspect, but between games, when you guys are traveling, could be beneficial for sure. How should players recover after a practice? Okay, post-practice nutritional strategies would include obviously consuming water, electrolyte drinks. Okay, whether it's even like a protein shake. Okay, I like protein shake after training or games. Okay, just from in our world. All right, so like when you take something that's from like a liquid standpoint, it's easier. It's bioavailability, so you can digest it faster. It gets into your system faster, helps you recover faster. Okay, simple carbs for easy digestion, like I talked about, and quick recovery. Protein source to jumpstart the recovery process of soft tissues. So kind of same thing. So if it's like a protein shake, okay, so obviously it has proteins and carbs, all right, in there for digestion, but obviously protein to help that recovery process, okay, for, after a game on Friday to help that for Saturday. Okay, and I can go back and shoot for that 8 hours of sleep per night as well. Okay, obviously I can't allude to that enough. That's probably, it sounds so simple, okay, but it's a huge piece that, like maybe now you guys don't have school because of what's going on. You guys are probably sleeping for 10 to 12 hours, okay, but, during school year times, all right, making sure you guys are sleeping 8 hours a night. And obviously, like when you guys are traveling as well, Okay, making sure you're sleeping 8 hours a night. So we're not up till noon, midnight, 1 o'clock, and then waking up at 7 a.m. for a 9 o'clock game. Okay, making sure if you guys are going to bed, okay, maybe you can have like a set time where, hey, we're lights out at 10 p.m. All right, and we have to be up at 7 a.m. And then making sure we're eating something, okay, before a 9 or 10 o'clock game. Make sure you're getting, okay, your carbs and proteins in right away, and make sure you guys are hydrating as well, okay, and before those games. How should players recover after a game? Okay, going back to their own environments. Like when you guys are done with your games, okay, just go and relax and be a kid, okay, when you guys are done. Obviously, we touched on the nutrition aspect of it, okay, what you guys can have after. Okay, make sure you guys are fueling yourself because you guys need to refuel and replenish to rebuild all those tissues, okay, to help out for next game as well. Hydration, we touched a lot on, all right, so making sure you guys are hydrating, all right, with water, electrolytes, etc. Okay, stretching, okay, maybe you can do more static stretching after, okay, after games, after practices, after training sessions, okay, and foam rolling, lacrosse balls as well, okay. If you guys feel comfortable with using those, okay, obviously we can, there's a bunch of different, areas that we can roll as well. Obviously IT bands, quads, okay, glutes, okay, calves, upper back, low back, okay, there's different areas that we can roll, okay, before practice and before games, okay, and also going through as well, making sure we're going through some dynamic warm up, okay, 5 to 10 minutes before we go out, and we're not just throwing our backpacks down, going to go run around a little bit, okay, but kind of going through those protocols I kind of mentioned, all right, with the warm up, making sure your circulation, make sure your blood flow, whether it's like jumping jacks, squats, and what we call pogo jumps, and 2, making sure your muscles are activated, okay, 3, making sure neural, like your body's ready to go essentially, okay, so any quick dynamic movements we can do, just so you're not going in, throwing your bag down and just running out there and we're going out cold. Like we want to make sure that we're ready and properly ready to go and play.
Trevor, well on that slide there. One of the things we talk about quite a lot in our club is when players come off the field is kind of what they're putting in their body right away. So is there something you'd recommend, or is it just players' choice on stuff like low-fat chocolate milk, energy drink, water? Do you mix your energy drink and your water? Is there any of these that are more beneficial than others, or are they all kind of based on the person?
Are you talking like during the games or like after?
Or straight after the game. So if we're asking the players to recover and put something in their body right away,
yeah, chocolate,
providing them something at the field, what do you recommend?
Yeah, chocolate milk would be simple. I mean, you could really get into depth and like, hey, like every kid's taking a protein shake, but if you want to keep it simple, have a chocolate milk.
Perfect. And then is there any kind of pre-game or post-game snack that you recommend for right at the field when we're putting them in their cars or players are leaving the fields?
Yeah, whether you could have like a protein shake and then you could even have like a PB&J. I'm just trying to think of something so simple and like handy on hand that you can like make and quick. It's quick, convenient for everybody. So having a chocolate milk, whether it's a PB&J after, but then also making sure you're eating like a meal as well. So having like your proteins and carbs as well, kind of we touched on the nutrition slide back up, but making sure you're actually having a meal as well. So you're not just relying on chocolate milk and then you're having, say you have a 10 o'clock game and you finish at noon and you have a chocolate milk and also you play at 5 and you're not having anything in there as well in that time period. So whether it is like a PB&J or maybe it's a meal, but kids are different. Some kids, I personally for myself, like I have to eat, something to fuel myself, and some kids can't because they feel sick. It's kind of player preference essentially. But just keep it simple. I mean, you could have like I said, a protein shake is great, chocolate milk. You could have a PB&J as well, and just keep it simple. Or if there's like any, you could make something at the hotel, for example, like bring, whether it's like Greek yogurt, like oikos Greek yogurt, things like that. Something that has like a protein and a carb in it for after. But I mean, I just keep it simple. Like chocolate milk could be a super simple solution to that.
I think that's useful for the players to hear, because right now, most of the time we focus on recovery when we have multiple games a weekend. But we're out of town on a trip, we'll normally provide the kids with something. But a lot of the times they don't bring their own stuff when we're playing a local game, which is still important for recovery.
Yeah.
Same advice.
Yeah. I mean, like I mean, whether it's during games, after games, I mean, that's something super simple. And I mean, like, that's where I kind of go back to like the 5 Ps, like prior preparation prevents poor performance. Like, we need to be prepared and knowing what the next day entails. So if we know like, hey, we have 2 games and we don't have any, and we're having breakfast, beforehand, but we don't have anything packed in our bag for before the game, after the game, until the next game, because we're at the venue all day. And we can't rely on just going to the concession stands and getting, hot dog or cheeseburger or things like that. Like, making sure that we are prepared. So that's honestly what it comes down to. So guys, girls on here, like, make sure you guys are prepared. 5 Ps, prior preparation prevents poor performance. If we're not prepared, we're prepared to fail, and we shouldn't fail because you need to be prepared. Okay. And we know, because hey, our schedule's out. We know what we're doing. We know how many games we have. This is our practice schedule, there as well. Okay. Make sure you're prepared and knowing what you need to take. We keep it simple, so we're not there on a Saturday and we're like, oh shoot, I forgot this and that. I mean, like, we'll probably forget. I mean, it's normal. We're human. Okay. But be prepared and we should be good to go. Okay. I'm going to touch on just the last thing too. How would you recommend players recover on the road in tournaments? Kind of we just addressed. Okay, continuous hydration and consuming adequate calories, primarily coming from carbohydrate and protein-rich foods, which I kind of alluded to before. De-stressing as much as possible during the downtime. So again, when you guys are, during in between games, like, relax, chill out. Okay, don't be running around, going, almost like you're playing another game. Okay, relax, hang out, have fun with your, your friends. Okay, but like I said, de-stress a little bit, like have that downtime to get that parasympathetic state, okay, and down-regulate a little bit, okay, engaging in social, okay, non-soccer activity, like I said. Do something non-soccer related. Hang out, walk around. You could go on a walk, something just simple. Okay, and obviously going back to the hydration piece and obviously nutrition piece too, making sure you're hydrating and not just consuming water during the games and before games and then just not taking in water or any hydrate, like, whether it's, obviously I'm not a big Gatorade guy, so obviously just plump full of sugar, but like having, some kind of form of electrolyte before and during and while you're hanging out, resting before the next game obviously is crucial. Okay. So just kind of do those small things and make sure you're putting the right things in your body and you'll be fine for the next games.
And Trevor, if you don't mind me kind of putting you on the spot here, I know we're repeating a lot of this stuff here, but I just want to make sure the kids have a clear picture. So sometimes at a tournament, we'll play, maybe I'll just give you an example, we'll play on a Saturday. First game's at 9 o'clock in the morning, but we also have a 4 p.m. game the same day. Mm-hmm. If we kind of work backwards to the start of that day, how quickly or what time should the kids roughly be getting up before their first game? If they play, say, 9 o'clock, when would you normally have the kids wake up and be active? And
for me, like, I'm a morning person. And again, like, some people need to sleep. That's why it's like, hey, like, I'd kind of go back to the sleep thing too. So maybe go back even, 12 to 10 hours before. And like, hey, we're having lights out. If we play at 9 o'clock, lights out's at 10. Mm-hmm. So we make sure like we're from 10 to 6 o'clock that we know that they're at least getting 8 hours of sleep. And, I would wake up maybe like 6:30. Okay. 6:30, maybe, some people might get up earlier. They might have jitters, butterflies. They can't sleep. Okay. But maybe it's like 6:30, get up, eat at 6:30, 7 o'clock, get something in your stomach beforehand. Okay. Hang out, leave at, if you guys are leaving to the venue at 7:30, okay, you guys have something in your system. Make sure you're obviously still drinking water, fluids. Okay. Get to the venue at 8 o'clock, do your pre-activity warm up. Kind of like what I kind of gave you guys kind of to kind of go off of, right? Before you guys even get out there. And then obviously game time starts. If you guys go until, say 11 o'clock or noon, then same thing, like right after that, again, that's a good time to have, chocolate milk and maybe just like a PB&J and then having like a lunch, like around like 1:30, 2 o'clock or so.
What kind of foods would you be eating at that point? Because you've got a game ahead of you. And you've just played a game, so what food would you recommend to eat at that point in the day? Yeah,
it's going to be kind of differentiated by player, to be honest. If some people want to eat more, some people don't, eat as much. If you want me to send you a list, I can send you a list of things like what to eat pre, post during, like before games, like at the hotel, because obviously you're kind of limited a little bit there on what you can have, and obviously like after games, and then like have, like I said, like your chocolate milk, things like that, but like having, you know, like again, like a protein source and a carb source, you know, during that time before. If you want me to send you that, Stu, I can definitely send you like a list to make it
That'd
easy.
be appreciated. And if anyone wants access to that, you just let me know and I can make sure you guys get it.
Yeah, I can send that out, and just it gives you guys a lot more options too. So it's not like, okay, I have to have this, I have to have this. Where it's maybe you don't like X, Y, so like you have Z. You know, like it'll give you a laundry list of different things, of protein options, carb options, healthy fat options. Okay, you guys can go down the laundry list of things like, hey, this is what I can have. Just so I can kind of go back, so you're not having hot dogs and things of that nature. Like I said, like we need to fuel ourselves. Okay, like a Lamborghini, like we need to put high premium grade stuff into our bodies in order to perform at a high level. So I'll send that over to you, Stu, after we're done here. And if you want to blast that out, we can definitely do that.
No problem at all. Appreciate it.
So yeah. So last slide, I just want to kind of open up to any questions you guys have. If you guys want to unmute yourself, if you guys have questions too, if you have any other questions at all, feel free. Like I said, unmute yourself. I'd be more than willing to answer any questions you guys have. Stu, do you have any other questions at all for me? Again,
I'm currently good at the moment. I'm just trying to see if anyone's kind of shy on wanting to speak up, or if everyone's okay. So I've got a question here. So girls, if you feel more comfortable, sorry, girls and guys, if you feel more comfortable, you can send it in the chat and I can say it out to Trevor. So Abby asks, does it matter if you have a hot or cold meal before a game?
That's a great question. Honestly, I don't see any difference in it, to be honest. And again, it's going to go down to perspective and the individual athlete too. For me, it doesn't affect me if it's more like a placebo thing. If it's like, oh, I don't want to have anything hot. I want to have something cold. Or if it's just like a Greek yogurt with, or oatmeal, obviously is something great to have. Like I usually have like a little bit of eggs and oatmeal with fruit, some like simple carb source before. So again, it's down to perspective and like what you feel comfortable with. If it's just like a placebo thing, but I don't see any difference in it. As long as you're getting in your carb source, your protein source, that's totally up to you. That's a good question.
All right. Next one's from Noel. He asks, is it important to replace the salt after a game or training?
Is it important to replace the salt?
Oh, you can see that as well, sorry.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. Yeah, so it's a big thing too, like now, and I'm a big, so like this goes back to like, I'm a big sweater. Like when I play, I'm a ex-college football player, I played a little after, and like I sweat a lot. So like I need like salt, obviously in my body, and sodium. So obviously, yes, it's important, but even like during or beforehand, okay, like sometimes if it's super hot out, like I cramp really bad, like sometimes during games. So like I would even have like a salt tablet. I would take like, not very tasty by any means, no, but if you would have like a salt tablet before a game and have it with it, like with water and any electrolyte drink that you guys have, I would do that before your games. So that's kind of in your body and in your system before your games. So I hope that helps.
Trevor, I've got one here that I'm going to kind of combine for you on sleep. So one guy asks, Evan asks, what is the max time you should wake up before a game? And then Olivia says, if you have 2 games in one day, should you nap or just rest?
So max time you should wake up. I mean, honestly, it's kind of, again, it's kind of perspective and it's kind of on you. Where I'm an early person, like I want to be up and like ready to go, or some people feel like they need sleep and they sleep later. And it also depends on what time the game is at. Like if you're playing at like a noon game, like I probably wouldn't sleep until like 10 o'clock. If you're playing at noon, I would say like wake up at like 7 o'clock at least, like 7 o'clock, 7:30, get up, get something in your system, move around a little bit. Yeah, move around, get your blood flowing a little bit, kind of go along with your day as like you normally would. And then obviously make sure you're having something a little bit before game day, or game time, I should say, if it's at like noon. But, I would say as long as you're not sleeping like an hour and a half before a game, just make sure you get your body like moving before, so you're not sleeping like an hour and a half up to game time, and then also you're ramping up your nervous system in like an hour and a half, if that makes sense. So again, it's kind of personal preference, but again, I like getting up beforehand to get through your day, get something in your system, get your body flowing, get through, okay, like your normal daily activities essentially that you'd go through, okay, and just carry on your day like you normally would. It's a good question. And Olivia, if you have 2 games in one day, I mean, if you want to take a nap, by all means. Now, I don't know how long of a nap you take. I nap a little bit, but I'm like more of like a power nap kind of person, whether it's like 30 minutes, that's it. So maybe not like a 2 to 3. I mean, some of my kids, their nap time is like 4 hours. So maybe not that long, maybe more like 30 minutes to an hour-ish. So that kind of goes back to that down regulating, kind of going back to that parasympathetic state, okay? By all means, if you need to, do it, especially if you didn't sleep, the night before as well. If you I get really nervous and jittery sometimes, and I can't sleep. Where, okay, like if this is a good time for me in between games to kind of catch up a little bit, that'd be a good time too. As long as it's not like a 4-hour nap, then you should be good, Olivia. Just stay away from the 3 to 4 hour standpoint. Good question.
The next one I find quite interesting to see your response as well, because this is one of my players, and actually one of the questions that comes up a lot is, in the morning of a game, a lot of kids say they don't like to eat. But Julia's asking, before the game, how much time should you eat, and should it be light or heavy? So it's kind of interesting to see your response on people that don't like to eat much in the morning. What should they eat to kind of fuel themselves for a game?
Yeah, I mean, again, some people can eat, some people can't. Some feel sick before games. Some people again, I just kind of relate to myself since I don't know really anybody on this thread, but I eat a little bit. But again, having just something, whether it's even like a bar, or like a light yogurt and granola and like a banana, like something just super small and simple. Okay. And then making sure you're eating after. But if you just completely can't eat beforehand, then, making sure obviously you're fueling yourself, or like obviously hydrating yourself for one, and making sure that you're having food after. Because again, if it's all calories in, calories out, if you're not taking anything in, like what's your body going to run on? Because it's running on 0, especially if you just woke up, you haven't eaten since, 7 o'clock last night, you haven't eaten anything. Your body's in a intermittent fast for 12 to 14 hours. You're not, fueling yourself on anything. Essentially, you're fueling off of fat, not a carb source. So try to get something, something little, just something light. That's not like super heavy feeling. Like I like oatmeal. I like oatmeal and banana, strawberry, blueberries, okay, things of that nature, and like a light, like eggs, just 2 maybe, just something simple. But if it's like a yogurt with a banana, just something simple, or like a protein bar as well. If it's like a half a protein bar, just like something where it's not, you don't have to have a 5-course meal for breakfast by any means.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, again, it comes down to like a lot of people are different. Like, Stu, I'm sure you're like, whether you need to eat beforehand, and, maybe some kids don't need to, some kids feel like they just can't function off it. It's just who they are, and everybody's different. But if you could have like something just minimal, like minuscule, that'd be ideal. Good question. A lot of good questions.
So any more? I know we've got some coaches in the chat here as well. Is there any coaches that have questions either about planning their schedules, or players? Do you guys have anything else? Feel free to just chat, or you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, like I said, Stu, if you want me, I can send over a list, like a laundry list of options of what you guys and all you kids can have as well, and coaches who are on this thread as well. Okay, I mean, feel free to look it over. I mean, you guys can obviously, I'm a big, practice what you preach kind of person, where, if the kids are going to be doing it, the coaches should be doing it. The parents should also be partaking too, and make it easier for them. But I can send that list over for you of just, hey, like this is what you should take from a protein source, carb source, fat source. Okay, when you guys get on, obviously should be taking it, and so on. Kind of give you a little bit more structure and guideline that way. So I know I kind of went through a lot of information here just to kind of send you guys over. I can definitely do that.
Last call. Is anyone getting any last minute questions, or are we good to wrap it up? Okay, I think we're good. Thanks so much, Trevor, for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good luck. Hopefully we start soon. Hopefully we're kind of out of this situation. So good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.